Welcome to the Get Organized HQ podcast. I'm your host, Tasha Lawrence. Every week, we share practical strategies for less stress and more peace as we dive into all topics life and home organization. I'm so glad you're here for this week's episode. Welcome back to the Get Organized HQ podcast. Before we dive into this week's episode, I did want to let you know that we are going to be wrapping up season 1 of the Get Organized HQ podcast the week of Thanksgiving. So after the week of Thanksgiving, we will not be posting weekly new episodes. You can, of course, go back and listen to previous episodes, but we will have an episode every week until the week of Thanksgiving. That includes the week of Thanksgiving. And then we are going to wrap up season 1 of this podcast. But thank you so much for listening along. And I hope that you have been encouraged to live a life of less stress and more peace. And we've got a little bit more organizing goodness coming your way today. We are going to be talking about how to have a stress-free holiday season. We are about 8 weeks out from Christmas. And so we're just going to be going through a week-by-week guide to breaking down the tasks, getting them done so that you can have a stress-free holiday season. Thanks for tuning in. All right, well, here we are. We are 4 weeks out from Thanksgiving, 8 weeks out from Christmas. And if that makes you start to have a little bit of an internal panic and how is all of the things going to get done, this is the episode for you. We're just going to talk through a simple week-by-week guide to preparing for the holiday season, how you can break everything out by tasks. And here's the funny thing. Preparing for the holidays, it's a lot like breaking out any other project. If you have a lot of things that you need to do, any project that you're working on, I always recommend having a master list and then breaking that down into smaller, manageable chunks. So what we don't want to do is have some master plan and say, okay, 8 weeks from now until Christmas. And so today I'm going to do this. And tomorrow I'm going to go buy the holiday gift wrap. And the next day I'm going to order all of the gifts for the kids. And the next day I'm going to order all of the gifts for the adults. And a week from Tuesday, I'm going to place the order for the holiday cards and like get it all so minutely mapped out to where, first of all, it's really easy to get behind. That if you've said, I'm going to do this thing on this day and this thing on that day, and then you miss one day, oh, I already feel behind on my plan. And what we want is a stress-free holiday season, and feeling behind typically leads to more stress. So how can we avoid that feeling? And the other thing is you just simply don't know what the next 8 weeks are going to bring, right? So 8 weeks, I mean, that is a relatively short amount of time, but a lot of things can happen in 8 weeks, right? You can have maybe you get a cold and you're not feeling as well one week. And so this was the week you were planning to do your holiday shopping, but you're just really not feeling up to going out and doing all of this shopping. Or maybe some family decides to come in and visit and you didn't know that they were coming, or they changed their travel plans and you thought you had all the days leading up to Thanksgiving. And actually they're coming in the Monday of Thanksgiving week. And that's great and exciting. But once again, it changes the plan. And so we want a flexible plan. And one thing I found when it comes to tackling projects that works pretty well for me is to try to assess, what do I want to generally get done on a week by week basis? Now, I will say, I have done a lot of project management. Okay. So several of you probably know I do a lot with the Get Organized HQ virtual conference, and I kind of manage the tasks for that. And so I do think that getting a feel for how many things you can get done in a week, and also getting a feel for where it's okay if not everything gets done, is a little bit of a learned skill. It's kind of like a muscle that you strengthen over time. And so you kind of have to know your personality. But I can say for myself that I can have a pretty good plan in place, and I can be okay if something needs to get bumped to the next week. And I think that having that flexibility is really important. And we're also going to try to build a little bit of that flexibility into our plan so that we're not running ragged, so that if something comes up or a week gets thrown off or something doesn't get done or something gets delayed, we aren't feeling behind. And so that's the goal, is to have a plan, but let it have some breathing room, let it have some flexibility, so that if, and I would almost say when, something gets thrown off, you aren't feeling stressed and frazzled and behind. All right. So I'm just going to dive in to an 8-week plan that's going to carry you now through Christmas. What are the main things you can focus on each week? So week 1, this week, it's where we're at right now. Let's talk about cleaning. Can you go ahead and tackle some of your deep cleaning tasks this week? Now, what specifically you need to do for this is going to depend on what your holiday season looks like. Do you have people coming to stay with you, or are you going to be the one going to travel somewhere else? If you have people coming to stay, then those high traffic areas, the guest room, things like that are the places you're going to want to focus on. And so when we're getting ready for the holiday season, there's a lot of stuff to do. Now is not the time to say, let's go organize the storage shed. I mean, that'd be great. My storage shed needs organized, let's be honest. But now is not the time to focus on that. Focus on those high traffic areas. And even if you aren't going to be hosting, think through, okay, what are the areas that my family is going to be using and needing the most often? Am I going to be doing more cooking or baking? Maybe you're going somewhere else for Thanksgiving, but you're going to be preparing some food at home and taking it. And so getting your kitchen cleaned and just in really tip top shape so that you feel good working in your kitchen. Maybe it is getting your clothing switched over. Maybe you still have all of your summer clothing hanging in the closet. You want to move that to one side and get your seasonal clothing moved over so that when you're packing, you can see the things that are in this season, things like that. And so thinking through your cleaning tasks and thinking through what really matters to you, what's really going to make a difference. And you might even kind of want to make a tiered list and say, okay, so the things that really need to happen, washing the linens in the guest room, wiping down the fridge shelves. That is one that I highly recommend. If you have not recently just pulled everything out of the fridge temporarily and wiped down those shelves, you will be amazed at how your refrigerator feels with clean shelves that don't have anything spilled on them. Like, even if they don't have massive spills on them, like, they just pick up little bits of things. And so getting the refrigerator cleaned out is it is such a good feeling. Highly recommend. But think through, what are the most important things for you? And then maybe what are some second tier things? I think it's really helpful for our brain to know this is like the non-negotiable. I have to have the guest room clean. I have to have, maybe you have stuff on the guest bed. I have to have that cleaned up and put away so someone can come and sleep on the guest bed. That is a non-negotiable. I would like to, in my case, vacuum the dog hair from behind the couch, because let me tell you, it accumulates a lot behind the couch. But people aren't going to be staring behind your couch all that much. And so that's probably a second tier thing, right? If I get to it, if I have time, fantastic, bonus. But if I don't get to it, nothing bad is going to happen. So kind of having that priority in mind. And then this week, diving into the cleaning tasks that you can. And also, as you're going through these coming weeks for the holidays, just having a clean house. I mean, you can take that deep breath. You have space to work. So week 1, cleaning. Week 2, let's focus on your meal plan and shopping list for Thanksgiving dinner. So, are you the one primarily hosting Thanksgiving dinner? Are you responsible for getting a turkey or a ham or whatever it is that your family eats on Thanksgiving? Or are you going somewhere else and maybe you are taking a side dish or something? This is a great week maybe to reach out to the person who is hosting and say, hey, I wanted to confirm, what did you need me to bring? And just having that plan in place, you don't have to go ahead and make the food this week, but having your meal plan and your shopping list saying, these are the food items I'm responsible for, and these are the things I need to purchase for it. And especially if you are the one hosting and coordinating a Thanksgiving dinner, this is a great week to make that plan and then start delegating. Maybe you've had people who have said, hey, like, let me know how I can help. This week is a great time to go ahead and start reaching out to them and saying, hey, I've been working on the Thanksgiving meal plan. It would be awesome if you could bring a dessert or a veggie side dish, or can you be in charge of bringing drinks this year? And going ahead, sending those texts, communicating with those people, getting it all written down and organized so that you know it's all taken care of, and having the plan in place. And then that'll lead us into week 3, where you can do your Thanksgiving grocery shopping trip, right? Going ahead and getting the things that you need, making sure you have the ingredients on hand. And the other thing I'd recommend doing is taking just a couple minutes, maybe opening up a note in your phone. If you are a Black Friday shopper, if you like looking through the deals, I mean, I absolutely do. I mean, if there's going to be deals everywhere, I am absolutely going to be going to all of my favorite websites and being like, well, how much percent can I get off from my, favorite place to buy shoes, or my favorite place to buy clothes, or my favorite place to buy makeup, or whatever. But having a master plan can be really helpful for so many reasons. First of all, it can help prevent you from purchasing clutter. So if you can think through, I've really been needing to get some more makeup. I'm almost out of my makeup products. And so one of the first stores I'm going to try, for me, I buy all of mine at Tarte. You may buy it. I mean, Ulta is really commonplace. People buy it, Target, even wherever you buy your makeup. And so maybe you're making a list in your phone and you're saying, when it's Black Friday time, I am going to look and specifically see, does this store have a deal on my makeup? And the thing I love about something like this is that you're truly saving money. Now, I am definitely not above going out and doing some Black Friday shopping, walking into the store and saying, man, like what an awesome pair of slippers. And they're on sale for $10 and I'm going to buy them, right? Like I have done it. I will do it again. I don't even regret doing it. Okay. But when you make a master plan for something like Black Friday, that is when you really start saving money. When you take a little bit of intentional forethought to say, what are we really needing? Or what are the holiday gifts that I still haven't purchased that I think there's a decent chance that they're going to go on sale for Black Friday? That's when you can really start saving some real money on things that you were going to purchase anyway. So you don't have to have some huge master game plan or some timed out schedule that at 6 a.m. I'm going to check this store and 7:30 a.m. I'm going to go to this store, but just making a list of, okay, at this point, Black Friday really is Black Friday weekend, right? We've got Black Friday and Small Business Saturday and Cyber Monday, and the sales just kind of stretch out the whole time. But having a plan of over the course of that weekend, these are the things that I'm specifically looking for. And that can kind of give you some purpose and some direction and make sure you're really taking advantage of the sale in the way that's going to save you the most money. Now let's talk about week 4, which is Thanksgiving week. And the goal here is to focus on enjoying the holiday rather than worrying about the next one. Now, when there's not a whole lot on the schedule for this week, the great news is that if some of the other things didn't happen, if there's some cleaning tasks that you haven't gotten to, or that you even want to revisit, maybe a couple weeks out, you weren't ready to wash the linens in the guest room yet. You can go ahead and do that at the beginning of Thanksgiving week. Or maybe there's something that you weren't able to pick up at the store yet for your Thanksgiving meal. You can go ahead and squeeze that in here. And so you have a little bit of buffer room going into Thanksgiving week, and you can take that deep breath, enjoy the time with your family, because the goal here is to have a plan in place so that when the holidays come, you can enjoy them instead of being stressed by them. And week 5 is what I'm going to call Thanksgiving recovery week. So, what do you need to do to feel back on track and recovered from the Thanksgiving holiday? Were you hosting? Maybe you need to do a little bit of tidying up, washing the linens that were slept on, cleaning up, just vacuuming, doing all the basic tidying tasks that happen after people have been staying in your home. Maybe you were the one traveling. And so this for you looks like unpacking, catching up on laundry, things like that. Also, this week is a great time to set up any Christmas decorations that you haven't gotten out yet. So I know everyone decorates for Christmas at all different times of year, but if you have a Christmas decoration that has not been set out yet, week after Thanksgiving is definitely the time to do it because there's not very much time left until Christmas. And the other thing I would encourage you to make sure that you have done this week is your holiday cards. So if you don't have those ordered yet or mailed out yet, going ahead and rolling on those, whether they be Christmas cards or New Year's cards that you send out, going ahead and getting those ordered. One thing that can be really useful, it takes a little bit of time up front, but if you tend to order from the same company, now not every company offers this service, but I know, for example, Shutterfly does. They have an address book service. And so you can actually put the addresses that you're going to be sending your cards to into Shutterfly, and they will actually mail and send your holiday cards for you. And so that's the type of thing that I feel like it takes a little bit of that upfront work. You got to track down all your addresses. You got to put them into Shutterfly, but that could save you so much time next year. The only thing you'd need to do would be to go through and update any addresses of people who have moved and letting them do the work of addressing, stamping, mailing, all of the things for your envelopes. So that's just a little pro tip with those. I have not actually used that service before, but I am planning on using it this year and doing that upfront legwork and getting my address book set up in there just to make it super duper easy. All right. And then in week 6, let's revisit cleaning. So way back in week 1, which is actually, the week this episode releases, but we're talking about week 6 now. So when we get to week 6, it'll be way back in this week. You've already done your deep cleaning, right? And so probably we don't need to redo a lot of those deep cleaning tasks, But with Christmas being right around the corner, now is the time to kind of freshen up any spaces. Maybe you want to wipe down your refrigerator shelves again. Maybe you want to clean off your stovetop. Maybe you want to run the vacuum in the guest room, things like that. Just freshening up any cleaning, anything that kind of over the last, 6 weeks of being lived in, because our homes are intended to be lived in, has started to get a little dirty or a little messy again. Going ahead and revisiting that space. And then this week, I would also recommend making your Christmas meal plan and shopping list, just like you did for Thanksgiving. So if you're hosting, then the same process, going through and saying, here's the things we need. Let me reach out to people, see what other people can contribute and bring. If you're going to be going somewhere, reaching out to the host and saying, hey, what can I bring? Getting the things on your shopping list, getting a plan made for what you need to prepare. And then in week 7, this is where you go and you actually get the things off that grocery list. You can make those foods if they're things that you can make ahead of time. And definitely trying to get some of these things earlier rather than later, because when we're in the week before Christmas, we don't want to if we can avoid the rush, that is the best thing, right? So the Friday before Christmas week is probably not the best time to be going to the grocery store if you can avoid it. If you can't, well, you'll be there with everyone else who is also can't avoid going the Friday before Christmas. And it's not going to be a make or break either way. Sometimes at this time of year, you just have to be a little bit flexible on brand or exactly what it is that you thought you were going to buy if stores are starting to sell out of some of those most common items and things like that. And during this week 7, I'd recommend going ahead and getting your gifts wrapped if you can. And so having that done. I find gift wrapping to be the type of thing that I anticipate being really fun. And I don't mind doing it, but it can also really take longer than I think and end up being less fun than I thought. So going ahead and getting that checked off the list, maybe put on some fun festive music or a movie while you do it, and getting all of that done. And then that just leaves week 8 to enjoy the holidays and to trust that the essentials are done and that anything that didn't get done, it is non-essential. And you can just take that deep breath and enjoy your holiday, whether you're the one hosting or you're the one traveling, whatever it looks like for you. So hopefully this 8-week game plan has helped you kind of break down the things that need to be done into manageable chunks. Leave yourself a little bit of breathing room each week. Don't stress, if you're going to get your holiday cards out in the week after Thanksgiving and they don't make it until the following week, it's not going to be a make or break. They'll still get out. And by having this plan in place, it's going to help keep you on track regardless. So thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Get Organized HQ podcast. And we will see you back here next week.